Yes, Dr. White. So today I went to the Cathedral of Saint Joseph in Jefferson City, Missouri. I went to the 9 a.m. mass today. Um, the experience was pretty enlightening. I mean, I see that the Catholic Church does a lot of things that I'm not really used to. There was also some good things and some bad things that I didn't like about the experience. But I think overall, it was really encouraging that this church did talk about. Actually, the priest discussed the Holy Trinity. That seemed to be the theme, the series that they've been on lately. And I think hearing him talk about the working of the Holy Spirit inside of that church and what the Holy Spirit functioning is very encouraging to know that Catholics are also talking about that thing. He made one big statement as far as the finite mind cannot understand the inner working of God, which is so true. We can't understand God, we can't understand the Trinity, and nor should we. How can we understand something that's supernatural? So I think him making that point was very important to his people. But there were some good things and some bad things that I noticed from the experience. The good thing was that there was a lot of discipline I saw. Um, whenever when I think about when they were getting ready to take communion, there was so much discipline as far as the sacred moment that was about to take place. As we talked about, as we did our chapter on communion, it was really intriguing to see how everybody in the building, when the priest began to break and bless the bread and the wine, how everybody was focused on the moment. I mean, so it's really good. Even the kids were focused on the moment. So it was good to see that kids, even at a young age, were very in tune to this important and very vital practice in the Christian faith. There was a lot of kneeling, a lot of crossing the Holy Spirit. Actually, as I got there early, so as I saw people walking in, I noticed them kneeling and crossing their chest before they sat down. I didn't know completely what was going on, but the Holy Spirit the Holy Spirit was talking to me during this whole service. So while all this was going on, I was having dialect with God, like, oh, what is that? Oh, what is this? And I see the Holy Spirit told me that as the people were coming to their seats and kneeling, and the priests were kneeling, and there was a big crucifix that was right there. And so maybe the Holy Spirit told me that they're kneeling to honor God and kneeling to honor Jesus. Which makes sense. But do I think it's necessary? I mean, I'm not Catholic, so that's not for me to dictate. But I don't feel that it's necessary to kneel, and I honor Christ in everything. I honor Christ in my lifestyle. So just the kneeling thing, it was different to me, I guess. But I'm noticing these assignments that a lot of stuff are different. Outside of how we worship God. I really wanted to take part in the Eucharist. I really wanted to do communion myself, but the Holy Spirit didn't have me do it. I actually asked the guy next to me, hey, I'm not Catholic, but I want to take part in this. And he was like, well, you can do what you want, but I don't think it'll be right. And I think I made the right decision not to take part in the Eucharist, because it would have been awkward for me to be a visitor and the only black guy in line standing there looking to take part in communion. So I will say that the experience was powerful, but there was just a lot of, even though it was structured, there might have been too much structure for me, and that's probably the bad that I didn't like about the church. It seemed like there's no room for the Holy Spirit to minister. As I said before, I might be charismatic. I'm a non-denominational Christian, but I guess you can place me in the category of Christianity. And there seems like there's no room for the Holy Spirit to move. It's not about jumping around. It's not about shouting. But it's about, hey, what is the Holy Spirit saying to me? And possibly what is something I might need to say to the people through what the Spirit is saying to me. So that's one of the things I didn't like. Also, I didn't feel very welcome in the church at all. It was just, maybe people were focused on church, but even when it came to the greeting of the visitor portion, it was like, who's that guy? Why is he here? So I say there was probably around maybe 115, 120 people there. And like I said, I just didn't, to be honest, I didn't feel welcome. I left the church. I mean, I'm a man, I like to shake somebody's hand and look him in the eye. When the priest was standing outside and I shook his hand, he couldn't even look me in the eye. So that might be something small to everybody else, but that's something huge to me if you can't look me in my eyes and you're supposed to be my spiritual leader and you're not very strong like that. I mean, that speaks volumes to me about the character of that man. But that's outside of the assignment. So I think overall there were some good things, like the speaking of the Holy Spirit and the taking the communion. But I could say the bad thing was that I just did not feel very accepted, in that church. So perhaps if I ever have an experience like this again, maybe it'll be different. But I probably don't see myself going to a Catholic church anytime soon. So that's my experience, Dr. White. And I thank you for these assignments because they've been very interesting to see, what's church look like. What does church look like outside of how I do it? So I really appreciate it, and I look forward to my next assignment, which I want to go to a Korean Baptist church in Columbia, Missouri. They speak complete Korean, and I want to go. I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to worry about the language barrier, but I'm just going to go and see what happens. So that's it.